This is Dispatches from Myrtle Beach with Charles Neal and my son Link from Good Mythical Morning. How you doing, Link?
I'm doing good, Dad. Good to see you.
Yeah, long time no see.
I
I'm
know.
telling you.
Yeah,
Been a while.
I've been on a little vacation. This is our first since I got back. Do you notice anything different about me?
Well, you couldn't hear me when you came in, and I said, well, you look like you might have a suntan.
That's right. I got a suntan, Dad. Just dedicated to you. In honor of you and your permanent suntan.
Permanent?
I mean, my suntan, there are years that I won't have a suntan, depending on what type of vacation and how, I don't know if you know how suntans work, but how much I'm in the sun.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first time I got a bona fide, show up and people see me and they're like, oh, man, you got some sun. It's the first time that's happened in a number of years. But you never give your skin an opportunity to be unsuntanned, I don't think.
Yes, that would be correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go to the doctor the other day. I had a little episode with one of my big toes, and it was my fault. I kind of...
Okay, let me hear about it.
I kind of clipped it a little too close.
Oh, Dad, you clipped your toenail too close?
Well, I mean on the side, where it goes down the side.
Ah!
And then I pulled the meat out of it.
Oh!
And then I said, well, it'll heal up. And then I put some peroxide on it and put some alcohol on it. Well, this went on for about 2 weeks, and it was red streaks running down it. And it was sore. I couldn't even hardly put a pair of shoes on. And so I finally said, maybe I ought to go to the doctor. And I did. And they give me and before this gets to the suntan thing, I went to see the PA, and she gave me some antibiotic, and she said, now you don't need to be out in the sun with this antibiotic. And I looked at her and I said, look at this skin. I said, does it look like I'm not out in the sun anyway? I mean, you see what I do for a living. She said, you still don't need to be out in the sun for the next week while you're taking this. You'll get some blisters or something. I said, I don't blister with antibiotics or nothing else. But I said, I will be careful. And my toe is almost healed. So thanks to her and soaking it in Epsom salt and the antibiotic, I'm in good shape now. So,
but Dad, you need to just go and get yourself a pedicure. I've started doing that. Christy was like, "Why don't you go with me get a pedicure?" They do a massage of your feet, and they're do all this stuff to it. You don't even have to bend over and screw things up like you did. You open it up.
Yeah. Well, that would be correct too. But I have done that with Nancy. And I liked it because they didn't just do my feet. They wrapped these things up my legs where my kind of, I got some pretty good healthy muscles on my legs. And boy, it makes them things. Oh, Lord, it makes you feel good.
See, there you go.
So, I may have to.
Might need to get rid of your toenail clippers or whatever type of hatchet you've been using.
Yeah.
And neither one of us have to wait for our wives to go in and get a pedicure. We can do it without a spouse escort. We can do that.
We can.
We're manly enough to go get our own pedicure.
Well, the way my fingernails
I don't get a
pedicure.
pedicure. I don't see the point in that.
No, not the way, because most of the time I got so much dirt up under mine. Sometimes some stuff I do, they don't want to see them.
Well, maybe you do need to go.
No.
But maybe you also need to get have you had since we're on the subject, a skin cancer assessment? They look at your skin and make sure you don't have anything of suspicious quality?
We go once a year to the dermatologist.
Okay. All right, good.
And I take all my clothes off.
Dad, don't make it weird.
No, hey, they got to look everywhere. So,
well, you don't have to seem so excited about it. I went from making sure you did it, and now I'm like, man, maybe I don't need to encourage him. I don't know what.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think we got to go in about another month and get it done. I think
I'm due
we always
as well.
do that in October.
Have they ever found anything, like had to remove anything?
They found some stuff, but they ain't never had to remove nothing.
Why are you You're still grinning. I'm talking about spots.
No spots, no moles, nothing they had to take off. Nothing.
All right, that's good. That's good to know, because you have accumulated a lot of sun hours over the decades.
Yeah. Many decades. Yeah.
So we got to catch up about our trips, don't we?
So me and you both kind of been shagging around the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for shagging around the world.
I've been in one spot. I don't know how many spots you've been in.
I don't think I really been but one place, but mine was just for a week. So I'm only, because yours was about a month or more. So I'm gonna let you go first and tell all other Myrtle Beach what you did for your vacation.
Well, I was in Oahu, and never been to Oahu. I'm very impressed with Oahu. Of course, flew into Honolulu, and then we stayed on the east side of the island. So it was like a 30-minute drive across the island to the other side, and then which gave us a better trajectory to get to visit the North Shore if we wanted to see the surfing mecca of the North Shore, even though it's not winter when that really kicks into high gear. But I mean, having gone to Kauai, Maui, and now Oahu, Kauai is like the most jungly and the least developed. So arguably the most dramatically beautiful across the board. Maui, we went together. I was not overly impressed. It's like they had cleared a lot of it for pineapples in the past, I think. It's like, and there's like one big volcanic mountain that kind of defines it. And we didn't really go on the road to Hana, so I can't really talk about how, I think that would have been the most beautiful part of Maui, which we didn't see. So what I have to compare it to, Oahu is like, Maui is more developed. A lot of resorts, and of which we stayed in one. Yeah. Oahu is kind of like more developed than Kauai, but also has more beautiful mountainous areas. And they've done a concerted effort over the years to keep like hotels and resorts off the East Coast and the North Shore. Like a majority of the island they've regulated away like the larger places that like tourists would stay in. So, and then if you want to stay in a house, you've got to rent it for a month. They're like really trying to keep people out. In fact, I heard that they're at least in Kailua, the town we were staying in, they're trying to extend the minimum rental period to 3 months, just to kind of keep the
riffraff out.
Riffraff like me out of there, the tourists. So I was fortunate to that we got a house in an area that was like, I kind of started to feel a little bit like a local, Hey, I'm gonna make a run to the coffee shop. I'm gonna make a run to the grocery store. I'm gonna go eat some of that leftover barbecue from our favorite barbecue restaurant. All that type of stuff. It was a lot of fun to pretend to be just like I lived there. Now I don't think anybody fell for it, but it was nice. I think I would like to go back to Kauai, but I don't know. I think I'm most likely to go back to Oahu now, based on that experience, especially if I can get back over there in Kailua.
You still got to go. You and Lincoln, y'all went scuba diving.
Yeah, we did. Lincoln came for about he came for about a week with two of his friends, and then we worked it out to where since they don't scuba dive, they went back, but then he stayed a couple more days, and we got the next level of scuba certification. We are now advanced open water scuba divers.
Oh my goodness!
So yeah, we took out a couple of days just to go scuba diving and kind of get that certification. We can now go down, instead of just a depth of 60 feet, we can go down to 100 feet.
Okay.
And we can also use, we're nitrox certified, so we can have we know how to use an enriched tank of oxygen so we can stay at the bottom longer. Because once you get down to 100 feet, you might only be down there for 15 minutes. The scuba diving was cool. We were able to go down to a World War II plane that crashed into the harbor. It didn't have an ejection seat, so the pilot stayed in the plane and crashed it into the water, and then he survived and it sunk. And then the Navy moved it out from where it was closer to shore. They moved it further out into the bay. I don't know if they did it just to make it a scuba diving site or for other reasons, but now it's one of the most exciting scuba sites that you can visit. But it's at 100 feet, so you had to get that extra certification to be able to do it. And so it was like a one-seater, it's called a Corsair plane. And we were able to go down there and swim all around it, and that was really cool. I love seeing fish and I love seeing coral, but my favorite thing is I feel like I'm exploring something mysterious, and it's kind of wild because you start descending from the boat and you're okay, 10, 20 feet down, and then you look down below you and you see this plane way down there, and then you're just slowly drifting towards it, and you get all these amazing views of this thing, and then you finally get down to it, and you're Lincoln and I are swimming around it, and we did that. We did another wreck dive. So I'd never done any wreck dives. There's a number of vessels that they've sunk for the purpose of scuba diving, and there was one that was upside down, so you could swim underneath it and then go through the cabin, and there were all these fish in there, and a lot of the fish would be swimming upside down because they were oriented to the boat somehow. It was strange. But we had a good time. We also saw a lot of sea turtles at another place, swimming with sea turtles. Not touching them, not bothering them, but I would just be floating in an area, hovering, watching a sea turtle get cleaned by these fish that eat the stuff off of it while it's sleeping there. Yeah. And then all of a sudden another sea turtle just starts swimming right in between me and Lincoln. Hey, I don't care about you guys. And then we saw a white-tipped shark taking a little nap. He was probably 6, 7 feet long. Not dangerous.
What kind of shark?
A white-tipped reef shark.
Okay.
But their faces are, scary, menacing. So he was sleeping there, facing a turtle, almost nose to nose. They were both just kind of chilling out, taking a nap. But then the shark has to move in order to keep breathing, I guess. So I made eye contact with him and I got a little freaked out. But the scuba diving is better in Maui, I gotta say. Except for the wrecks, which they may have those at Maui, the volcanic cathedrals that we were able to swim through and all of that. I mean, that was one of the best dives I've ever done in Maui. So I gotta give them their credit there. And I know you want to be the mayor of Maui, so I gotta put in a good word for them.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
I can tell you more about my trip, but I want to hear some about yours too.
But you got to tell me a little, being a veteran, didn't y'all go to Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, we did. We went to Pearl Harbor like in the first few days we were there, and I didn't know what to expect. They had a film, like a 20-minute film that we like watched there, which gave everybody context because like I can't answer all the questions the kids are asking, and they don't want to hear it from me anyway. But then we made a reservation to go out on the USS Arizona, which is the sunken battleship from the attack that's still there in the harbor, and there's parts of it that are sticking out of the water. Have you been to it?
Yeah, I've been there. Me and Nancy both.
So
I think 2013.
They orient us before we go out there that, hey, this is a tomb. The ship hasn't been moved, and all the soldiers that perished in the sinking ship are still there. So you take a boat there, and then you get off the boat, and they've built this cool. It's like a walkway, but it's almost like an art piece as well, and you can look through the middle of it, and there's like it's a shrine and a dedication to the fallen soldiers that are buried in the ship beneath it. So it was a very solemn tour. They oriented everybody to like, hey, be respectful, be quiet, use a whisper voice, and don't be cutting up, kids.
And I think there's not a whole lot of soldiers that were at Pearl Harbor that are still living, that lived through it. And when they die, if they were there at Pearl Harbor, they get to go back and be buried.
That's right.
Down in the ship.
And the last soldier who was eligible, who was serving during the attack, passed away, I think within the last year, definitely within the last 2 years. So he actually elected to not be buried there is what they said. So, but there's not anybody else that's eligible to have their remains taken down there in a ceremony. But yeah, it was cool that they did that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that wasn't a party boat, but we did go on a party boat later. We did a sunset Mai Tai cruise out of Waikiki for like 3 hours. And it was a bona fide sailboat, and it was me and Christy and Lando and our friend Nicole, one of Christy's college friends, came and visited. And so we were drinking Mai Tais on this sailboat, watching the sunset with a wedding party of like 25 people from outside of LA. So I had on my yacht outfit, and Lando was like, I kind of wish he would button it up. I was like, nah, man, I have my Mai Tai, got my shirt unbuttoned. I'm and I'm like making friends with the wedding party,
Yeah.
And like the captain is playing music, and at a certain point, a song starts playing. I'm like, hold on, what is this? And then Christy's like, Link, they're playing My OCD. They were playing one of our songs. So the captain had caught wind of our YouTube channel and was adding us into the DJ mix. I said, well, he should have played I'm on Vacation, but he played the wrong one. And a few people there noticed this, but knew who I was. But so I got the party boat experience too. You were just kind of a half wedding crasher. So right. Yeah. It wasn't like the reception. It was just like they were there for a few days. This is one of the things they were doing. So I paid for a ticket. I didn't crash anything, but yeah, there was a little bit of that vibe.
Why do you want to learn a new language? Maybe you have an upcoming international trip, want to connect with a family member or friend, understand a certain pop culture, or just want to learn a new skill. In comes Rosetta Stone, the most trusted language learning program, available on desktop or as an app. It truly immerses you in the language you want to learn. Rosetta Stone has been a trusted expert for 30 years with millions of users and 25 languages offered. It provides fast language acquisition with no English translations, so you really learn to speak, listen, and think in that language. Plus, their built-in true accent feature gives you feedback on your pronunciation. It's like having a personal trainer for your accent. Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. For a very limited time, Dispatches from Myrtle Beach listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. Visit rosettastone.com/dispatches. That's 50% off unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 50% off at rosettastone.com/dispatches today. Did you know that Rhett and Link have a grooming line? Well, I didn't. Unleash your legendary style with a line of mythical grooming and personal care products. The collection features items for the hair on your face, hair on your head, and for everything else. Available now at mythical.com. Well, it sounds like you had a really good trip. Well, Nancy and I went to Banner Elk up in the mountains
Of North Carolina.
A place up where Beach Mountain and Sugar Mountain's at, which you are very familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And we stayed. We got up there on a Monday and just got to rest and relax and have a little vacation. And then Brandy and Paul and Cameron and Jabe and God.
Oh, you got to remember all the grandkids now.
Got to remember. It'll come to me in a minute. And the little girl, anyway.
Little girl, she'll get a name when she gets older.
Yeah, but
when you remember it.
And Brandy had kind of planned some stuff when we were coming, and so we went whitewater rafting.
Whitewater rafting
at the edge of the world.
Well, that sounds dangerous.
We drove into Tennessee from North Carolina, the Nattahaley River.
Yeah. Nattahala.
Yeah, Nattahala.
So what class rapids are we talking about here?
Well, now, I told them before we got on there that I had been on the Gully twice, and they said, well, you won't see nothing like that. But we
class
went through
4,
three
maybe a
category
class 5.
3s.
Okay.
So it was fun. So
anybody fall out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Because
why are you falling out of class 3?
We went down the river, Link, and then we stopped and they fed us lunch. And after they fed us lunch, he said, we're going back up the river. You walk up here, carry a raft with you. You can turn it around sideways, and 4 or 5 of you can get on the edge, and we're going to go down through this category 3 again with the guide guiding us down through there. And they were going to be taking pictures and stuff.
Okay.
So me and Brandy and Jabe, and I almost thought the little girl's name. God.
You're going to get
can't believe it.
When you least expect it.
And so it was me, and it was Brandy, Jabe, me, Cameron, and Paul. 5 of us on the edge of it.
Okay.
And they said, now when you
with your feet hanging like over the edge?
Feet hanging over the edge, all of us, and said, when you go down in this swell, you need to kind of lean back. Oh, that didn't, oh, Lord.
What?
We got in this first swell, and Brandy didn't lean back, and she was going off the raft. So she had Jay by the hand, and she said, I ain't doing this by myself. And then they had me in the middle, and here we went, and Cameron won't go in, and he turned us loose. So all 3 of us was in the water.
Holding hands.
Well, no, I was and they was hollering at me, said, and they had told us what to do when you fall in the water. It's kind of like the other place. Float up, stick your feet up in the back, and turn around where you can float and go down, and we'll pull you back up in the boat by your life jacket.
Okay. Oh, but here we go.
Here we go.
Over the edge. So this is the moment here.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
So I can see that they're holding your hand and pulling you in.
And you can see that Cameron was turning her loose.
Yep. That's good that they caught that moment.
I was kind of having a hard time, but Link, let me tell you something. We went to the Gully, and that was some kind of cold water. But this is the coldest water I ever been in my life.
Really?
I mean, I think they said it was between 48 and 52 degrees.
Woo! No, that is cold now. I mean, if you get in 60-degree water, you could get an ice bath of 60-degree water.
Well, and then some places it would get up to like 58.
Ooh.
So we
That
went
woke you
back
up.
up there and we did it again.
Same thing?
Same thing, but
Did you lean back?
I didn't. Yeah, I leaned back this time. We didn't get through. But you could ride the front of the boat with just two of you and go down through it too. And I got so cold in that water, and I said, I've had enough of this. I'm done. All you young people, enjoy yourself. I told Nancy, I said, you see these people that do that ice bucket challenge and pour that water over them?
Yeah.
That would be a piece of cake from what this water is. I mean, it was.
Well, when you get in water that cold, your arms and legs don't want to work.
Well, I'm telling you, I've had a time with my feet a little bit, getting all for a day or so, getting the
Circulation back?
sensation back where they kind of felt normal for. But then you floated on down the river, and they had some places they stopped where you could jump out and go swimming in the water. I said, have y'all lost y'all's mind? I said,
yeah.
And Paul jumped out of the raft and jumped in the water, and he got right. He won't but a minute. And Jabe jumped in too. And they didn't stand there long. Paul said, if you think that water was cold up yonder, jump out and get in this hole here. He said, that's got to be the coldest water I ever seen in my life. I said, no, thank you. That's all right. I'm good. So.
And was this afterward to prove that you all survived?
This was after. Well, this was before we left in front of the bus. One of the buses we were going to get on.
That's cool. That's cool that you did that.
But we had a great time, and we went. Then that took all day for that, and then the next day we went up to Grandfather Mountain and went up there and walked across the bridge. And,
Did you say I took a hang glider off of this?
And this was the neatest thing. They did away with jumping off a hang glider on Grandfather Mountain I believe he told me 1999 or 1998.
Okay.
But they were having a special thing that weekend, and they had hang gliders set up all up around the mountain going up through there. And then they had one in the park up there where you could stop and go see it. And I went up there and talked to the guy, and I said, did you ever get to jump off the top of Grandfather Mountain on your hang glider? And he said, oh, no, I'm too young for that. He said, and I said, well, I did it for about 3 years from like 1971 to 1974. And he said, man, you a lucky man. You're a lucky man. He said, I wish I could have been able to do that. And me and him talked a little while. But that was neat. You could get strapped in the hang glider, and they showed you how to turn and glide. And
that's cool.
When you went off, but they still got 3 places you can go up there and go hang gliding.
I think that I guess I mean, it's obvious. I got my adventurous spirit from you because I was walking up and down the beach that we were on. and it was consistently day, night, every single day windy. And so they had all these wind sports, including wing foils. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but windsurfing, it's like a sailboat, but it's attached to a surfboard.
Yeah.
Well,
I've seen you do that, haven't I?
No, I've never done that, but this is different. This is an inflatable wing that's like 6 foot in 6 foot wingspan, maybe 7. You could get an 8 foot one, and you just hold it above your head. It's not attached to anything. And then you get up and you stand on a large buoyant surfboard that then when you get up enough speed, it's got a fin and a foil down there, and it comes out of the water and you're hydrofoiling.
Oh, yeah.
On top of the water. You're flying over the water using the power of the wind to control your wing. And it's not much different than, it's basically like hang gliding just like a couple of feet above the ocean.
That's pretty neat, yeah.
And I was determined to learn how to do it. I mean, I gave the whole spiel on ear biscuits, so I won't do it here, but I will tell you that like I took 8 hours worth of lessons and beat my body up. And I barely started to learn how to do it. I'll say that. But I guess I have you to blame. I just knew I could do it. I was just watching them do it for days, and I was like, I have to learn how to do this.
That's pretty neat.
But I would also take I had a vision to go on a lot of hikes, and so I picked an easy one, and then we went out there with just me, Lando, and Christy, and we couldn't park where I wanted to park, and we had to drive all the way back down and park on the side of the road, and it looked like it was more of a ditch, and we might get stuck, and then we got out of the car, and I'm getting the dogs fixed on their harnesses, and then Christy remembers that we didn't bring any bug spray, and I'd been hearing enough feedback about where we should park and where we shouldn't park and how much bugs there was going to be, and I was like, you know what? We're not doing this. And I started taking the harness back off the dog, and Christy and Lando started walking up the road to get to the path, and they were like, no, come on, we're going to go. And I'm like, you know what? We're not doing this. Christy, she's like, well, I'm doing this for you. And I'm like, exactly. Yeah, I don't need you to do this for me. I could do this at another time with somebody who's not doing it just for me. And I can have bug spray, and I might not bring the dogs, and so I stuck to my guns, and we got back in the Jeep, and we got out of there. And I was like, I'm not mad at you. This is for the best. And she came around, and then we rode around, and we found an amazing Hawaiian donut truck called Malasadas to eat, and everybody was happy at that point. But I went back with just Lando, and I did take the dogs because by this point, we had done a couple of more involved hikes. So I'm like, we're going to go back to this hike. It's a 30-minute hike to this waterfall. You park in a country club parking lot, for God's sakes. So we did that. And then we're like 30 minutes in, and I'm not seeing a waterfall. And I'm like, well, it's still a nice trail, but I think maybe it'll be right around here. And then I realized my phone had the trail map on it, and I could track where we were. And so I did find, I was like, oh yeah, we're on the trail, and here's the waterfall, but damn if it isn't way over here. And I was like, we went a little too far, so we turned around, and we go off the beaten path into a smaller path that right here on my phone, it tells me this is the right one. And then we're going deep into the jungle, and Jasper is just off leash, and he's up there with Lando, and I got Jade on the leash because she won't come when she's called. She's got to stay on the leash. And then we get to this point, and I look, and like Lando's holding on to ropes and climbing the side of a jungle mountain. And then Jasper's like, just like scrambling up there behind him. And so I'm like, well, I pick up Jade. I'm holding her in my arm. I'm grabbing the rope with the same arm and the other arm and trying to, it's like almost vertical. And it's just muddy. And Lando wasn't complaining, so I was like, we're going to do this. And then we get to the top of the rope, no easy task. And then I look and Lando's on another rope. One rope leads to another rope, leads to another rope. And I'm like, this must just be a shortcut. And it was fun, but we are not coming back this way. I can't come down these ropes with these dogs. I don't know how to do it. And we kept going and going. It was kind of getting dark, and I was kind of getting nervous. But I saw we were going to get to the waterfall, and we did get to the waterfall. And when we did, I look up, and I saw a family, 2 daughters, a wife, and a husband. The dad, they are already there. I'd seen them back at the parking lot. And they were asking me where to go. And I said, well, this is the way to go. And then I started going. I didn't want to hike with strangers, so we just kind of booked it. And I figured they would follow me loosely. Well, they beat me there because they took the right trail. They're like, we've been here for like 20 minutes. This is like 30-minute, 15, 20-minute walk to get here. And I was like, if I would have brought Christy up to those ropes, she'd have wrapped it around my neck and hung me with it. She would have killed me. So I listened to my intuition, and we turned back the first time. And then Lando and I did not go back the way we came. We followed the family back out. I was like, well, damn if this wasn't a lot easier. But it's so beautiful there, and we had a lot of adventures like that. So I had a lot of fun. Part of me didn't want to come back. Part of me thinks he could live there forever.
Yeah.
I'm envious of you. Like, I walk in the dogs on the beach every morning. Like, you can go out there on the beach anytime you want.
Yep.
But we had a good time. Seems like we both had our share of adventure.
Well, Link, you had a great trip.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Nancy and all the kids and everybody, we had a great trip. And, it was fun having all y'all here with us today, and we'll be back next week for another one. And don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And while you're at it, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And if you got a question, comment, or story you'd like to share with me, email me at ratherbeshagging53@aol.com. And y'all have a great rest of the week, and we can't wait to shag by the shore again next time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, love you, son.
Love you too. The adventure continues.